Joining us on the phone right now, a State Attorney General, Jeff Landry. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Oh, well, I think all of Louisiana has had better weeks, but, we're going to preserve. Things have been okay. Been spending a lot of time out in the capital city. I spent Monday visiting the police officers who were still in the hospital, one of them who is continuing to struggle for his life, and then spent Tuesday visiting the homes of each of the slain officers and their widowers and those children that they left behind. And then yesterday was back in Baton Rouge, had a candlelight vigil over at the Jubilee Church.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we're just trying to piece everything together so we can move this state and the city forward.
Mm-hmm. From your perspective, not only as the Attorney General, but your background in law enforcement, it's we were speaking during the break before we went on here, just that, our hearts bleed for these people.
Yeah, it's tough. The thing of it is, you got to remember that we had three gentlemen who loved their city, who loved their country, who loved to serve their community, wake up and put their uniforms on and put their badge on and went to work and never came home.
Yeah.
It's and they understood that. They understood that that's part of the risk that they take to stand between those who want to harm us and our communities. And it's been a tragic event for the law enforcement community. It's been a tough year for law enforcement. I mean, Louisiana probably is now running about second in the number of officers killed in the line of duty, only right behind Texas. And it just you scratch your head and you just wonder, how do you get everything back on track? How do you balance the need to safely guard the community with some of the things that are going on out there?
Mm-hmm. How do you think I know we're going to be discussing this balance probably forever. Is it about the training? Is there a better way to do it? Do you have any kind of initial thoughts in that direction?
Well, I think it all, it all goes back to the last couple of decades of the way that this country, the direction that this country is going. Bernie, when you think about it, there seems to be a continual road for the rule of law and respect for authority. We took prayer out of school. Now they want to take God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. In fact, they want to take the Pledge of Allegiance completely out of school. We had incidents where teachers get arrested for disciplining children. We had a mother get arrested for disciplining her children. I think that the policies that have been placed, the liberal policies that have been put in place over the last couple of decades, tend to erode the fabric that holds the community together, and that is the rule of law and the respect for authority, and that somebody has to be in charge in order to enforce the laws that are out there. And when we disrespect that authority, when we break those laws and we allow people to blatantly break them, then everyone believes that they can break them, and then that leads to anarchy. And again, I think that is the ingredients that have caused the events that have unfolded over the last 7 days.
Overall, where do you think it leaves people? Just everyday, regular people. I think people are just so sympathetic right now, and obviously they need to be with this outpouring. But does it leave us all confused still too?
Well, absolutely. I think it absolutely leaves us confused because, again, some of the things I talked about just a minute ago that I believe have led to the tragic events that we've seen over the last 7 days, not only in Baton Rouge, but in Dallas as well, because we can't forget Dallas. Mm-hmm. We can go back to the Orlando shooting a month ago. It does leave them confused because the erosion that has taken place in the rule of law has been subtle. And sometimes we forget, how we got to where we are. And so, my message is to try to have people pause and think about where we've come from, where were we, how did we get there? And to me, that's the answer. There's going to be no silver bullet. There's no magical training course that's going to fix those, happening. I mean, think about it. Think about the tragic events that happened in Lafayette back at the cinema way back, a year ago now. And we talked about mental illness and how we deal with mental illness in this country. And everybody left there scratching their head. Again, these are all things that continue to plague us, and we've got to do better on a policy standpoint.
Our state attorney general, Jeff Landry, has been joining us this morning. One final question, and it's switching topics a bit. Just kind of your overall thoughts. In the news this morning, and I know you were busy at that vigil last night, but in the news this morning, Ted Cruz getting up there, got booed, not making an endorsement of Trump, and then Trump coming out of the wings of the arena. A lot of people are saying what Ted Cruz did was just really classless. Any thoughts in that direction?
Yeah, I was extremely disappointed in Senator Cruz. I ended up listening to the speech on the way home from the Jubilee Church last night, and I thought he had a great speech up until the end. And I kept thinking, like many of those people in the convention center, that at the end he would make a nod to the nominee. I think it was completely disrespectful and certainly distasteful for him to do that. I mean, if he had no intention of unifying the party, then maybe he should have stayed home. Maybe he should have chosen not to speak. It was, I guess, raw politics at its best, but certainly not helpful for the country and not helpful for the party.
All right. Jeff Landry has been our guest. As always, sir, thank you for your time this morning.